Hey everyone, it's Todd Lyles here, and I am here with our newest team member, Dean. Dean, say hello to everybody.
How you guys doing?
All right, fantastic. So we wanted to do two things today. One, we want to introduce you to Dean. Dean is our newest team member, and he is our classroom sales representative. Yes, Dean, I'm using the words sales representative. We may come up with a cool title, but initially, we are not ashamed to be a training sales organization. And Dean's a new team member here. He will be representing us out there. So that's number one. I want to introduce you to Dean. We're going to let Dean tell you a little about his background. And number two, we are going to give you a real to life lesson on how we hire. And Dean, being our newest team member, can speak firsthand to that hiring as well as the training process. And I'm even going to show you some of our real life tools that we're using with Dean, and you can use those to kind of make them live and relevant inside of your own company. So let's start with number one. Dean, welcome to the team, man.
It's good to be here, man. It's been, everyone's been very welcoming. It's been awesome. Todd's done some great stuff with me this week, and I'm excited about moving forward.
Man, me too. I'm really excited about you being here. So Dean is a little bit taller than me, not a lot. It's not hard to be taller than me, though, Dean.
No. I mean, I come from a basketball background, so I feel short. So.
Oh yeah. Because how tall are you?
I'm 6'1" and a half, 6'2". So.
And most of the guys you were hanging with probably a lot taller than that.
6'5", 6'6", yeah.
6'5", 6'6". All right. So he's a tall guy. So Dean comes from a basketball background. Where'd you play ball?
I finished up at Mary Hardin Baylor up there in Belton, Texas.
Mary Hardin Baylor. Okay. So cool. So that's one of the things that we actually liked about Dean is that he's an athlete. Because we know that athletes bring a competitive spirit to what they do every day, and Dean is going to need to have that competitive drive to really push forward and prove to everybody that we're number one, right?
That's the goal. It's a competition. You lose that competitive background, so you got to find it somewhere, and I found that here, so I'm happy to be aboard.
All right, awesome, fantastic. So, guys, what I want you to do is I want you to give a shout out to Dean, say hello to him. He'll be checking out the Facebook page, giving you guys a shout back as well, and you will see more of Dean as we go through. So, the next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to give you a little tiny preview of what I'm actually going to be speaking on at the Service World Expo. It's something that I feel that we're an expert on because we do it every single day in our business. But we also help contractors out there, all of our clients, our large growing number of clients. Thank you, clients. We make this happen because of you. You guys are great. So we're going to do a little learning, teaching lesson here today. And let me share, if I can, the very first slide that we're going to be showing you guys. If you come to Service World Expo, you're going to see the very first slide. If not, you're going to get a little bit of a taste of it here today, okay? So let me hit this share screen. Let's see here. There we go. All right. So you guys should be able to see that slide now. I think you can. By the way, if you are here and you're hanging out with us, do me a favor. In the comments, if you can see the slide, just type the word yes. That would be great, all right? So check it out. At the Service World Expo coming up here next month, I'm going to be teaching a lesson called the 6 Keys to Recruiting and Retaining World-Class Talent. And I do believe that we have world-class talent here today, and I think that we've added even our new world-class talent with Dean, so we're excited about that. Now, in today's lesson, I'm not going to go through this step by step. I'm going to save that for the show, but what I will tell you is that what's critical is that you have to define what world-class talent means to you. And once you know what that means, then hiring the amazing people can be much quicker. But what I'll also say, thank you, Kenneth, appreciate that. But what I'll also say, point number 2, is you still have to know why a slow hire is critical to a successful hire. Now, if you take step number 1, that hire is still going to be faster, but it's going to be fast with intentionality, but it's still going to be slower probably than what most people would tell you it should be. But guys, we're looking for long-time, long-term, highly successful employees. We're not looking for people that can just fog up a mirror. Number 3, how to pay above the market and provide the best benefits, because that's going to be a huge part of getting the best talent. Number 4, While money is not the only thing world-class talent desires. Number 5, utilizing bonus programs to boost recruiting and retention. And number 6, creating an ownership mentality inside of your culture and how you do that. And I think that we do a really amazing job with that, all right? So in a few moments, we're going to unpack number 2. I'm not going to give you all the points, but I'm going to give you a few details on number 2, knowing why having a slow hire is absolutely fundamentally critical to your success. But before I jump into that, I am going to come back over here, back to Dean. So Dean, from beginning to end, how long was the process of, for the first time you read the article online to getting your interviews? How much time did it take before you actually joined the team?
I think it was about 3 to 4 weeks before, the offer was made,
Right.
and another week till I actually started. It's about a 5-week total process.
So about a 5-week total process. And I would say that a lot of people would consider that a relatively slower hire. Sometimes our process has been longer than that. Sometimes it's been actually months. But we had about a 5-week process with Dean, and we actually followed several steps to this process. And the reason why we do it is really simple. We want to make sure a couple things happen. One is we get someone that's going to be super talented or has the potential to be talented. If they've got the right attitude and they've got some other skill sets, then we can sharpen them up. So we want to really make sure that happens. But for us, Dean, and I've stressed this to every team member that's ever come on board, I don't want to get a team member to buy into our company, to come on board with our business, and then them find out it's not a fit for them. I feel like I have failed, but it's really damaging to lose team members. Dean, you played basketball, and I don't know, I didn't prep you for this, but did you ever have an experience while you were playing basketball that maybe one of the athletes might have been talented, but the talent didn't necessarily match up with the team? They ended up quitting you? Hopefully not in the middle of the season, but has that ever happened to you?
Multiple times, yeah. We've actually had players quit in the middle of the season, and it is kind of rough. You lose that camaraderie, everything you've built to that point kind of goes out the window. You kind of got to reconvene, and doing that mid-season is never easy.
Mm-mm.
Sometimes the coaches will get rid of them. They generally do it before season and after season. But yeah, keeping team camaraderie and keeping that same core is always important to moving forward and getting better.
Absolutely. And we have found the same thing too. Check this out, Dean. You've got some people on here saying hello to you. That's pretty cool. So right here, Melissa Mayfield. Hi, Dean. That's my sister.
Oh, how you doing?
So there, and I remember I told you I should be able to remember your wife's name because it's my sister's name. We got old Melissa here, so check it out. We got so here, watch. I'm going to add that to the broadcast. Hi, Dean. Can you see that, Melissa? That's pretty neat, isn't it? And then we got Louder Milk over here saying what's up. So go get them, Dean.
I like it. I'm here to make some things happen.
Yeah, and then my wonderful sister, who I adore, is back in the scene again with a welcome to the team, Dean. All right, cool. Oh, and then we got Doherty. Look, Thomas Doherty. Thomas Doherty was a great team member here for a long time. The first hire outside of myself and Shannon. So thank you for all that help in the beginning, Thomas. We appreciate you. All right, so cool. So slow hires are important. We want to take the time to do it and to do it right. And when we do that, we avoid some of those potential rosy glasses. And most importantly, as I was saying, I never, as a leader, want to put someone in a position to where they fail. Now, it's a learning lesson for team members. It's a learning lesson for leaders as well. But if we do a really good job with the slow hire, we're going to find someone that's going to line up best with our team. Hopefully, that's the goal, right? Let me go back and show you a few more of these points here, okay? So if you check it out, we got a slow hire. You guys can see that. The other aspect to that is how we go about the slow hire. So here's our 7-step process. And every team member that's been with us has gone through this 7-step process. Now, we're not going to break it down 100% all the way. Again, if you would like to learn more about this, maybe we can do a special session around this 7-step process down the road, which we're certainly happy to do, which would be great. Or you can come check us out, and that'd be preferable. Come check us out in Las Vegas in October, the Service World Expo. But step number 1, we want to know, do we like each other? We feel that that's a really critical component, because we got to be able to work around each other, and we're not an aloof company. We like each other. We laugh, we joke, we crack up. And as that image suggests, we take a scientific approach to that. We do some deep dive studying. We do profiles, which is step number 2. Dean's been through this profile approach. Everyone in our company's been through this profile approach. And it really helps us know how a person like Dean communicates. It lets us know what their skills are, lets us know what we need to do to boost those skills and what those next steps would be. We like to do a skill check. Now, we always inspect what you expect. Now, you'll hear some people say hire for attitude and you can train skill. Sometimes, yes. Why not go ahead and hire for both is what I say, right, Dean?
Yes, sir.
And Dean does have a background in sales, actually comes from the car industry, right?
Yes, sir. 6 years in the car industry, quick break in real estate. But yeah, since I got out of college, it's been all sales.
Yeah, and he's got that competitive background. So we want to hire for both if we can, but we would certainly take a positive attitude over skill as long as the capability of skill was there. Check the credit references. You know, Dean, here's what's interesting about this is that you were like number 3 or 4 on my list. I didn't tell you that. I'm telling you that now. But then I checked your references, and I believe in checking the professional but also the personal references. And guys, I'm going to come off the share screen for just a second, and I'm going to come back to you because I want you to see my face as I talk about this. As I was saying, Dean was not my number 1 choice, right? No offense, Dean. But what I found out when I called the professional references, they all had wonderful things to say about Dean. They talked about him being a go-getter when it comes to being a great sales rep. They described what I was looking for, but what really sold the day for me were the personal references. And here's the thing. A lot of times we ignore the personal references, Dean, because they think, oh, they're family, they're friends, they're not going to tell us the truth. What I've actually found is that family and friends will get a whole lot closer to the truth than some of the professional references will be, especially if you know how to ask good questions. Because as I was checking the personal references of the people that were ahead of you, you believe that their family and their friends were the ones that were taking them off my list?
That's amazing. That really is.
Well, they weren't trying to come over this way a little bit. Those other family and friend references weren't trying to be rude to the other candidates, but what they were doing is they were telling me the truth about them. Things like they have a hard time showing up on time. Things like they got high drama in their life. And those things didn't come out about you. Your family and friend references, and kind of somewhere in the middle for you, I talked to some of your coaches. Your coaches had wonderful things to say about you. They were around you the most. So, guys, what I would say is check your references and don't avoid the personal ones, but don't just take one either. Ask for multiple personal references. By the way, your friends can say things about you that businesses can't. So make sure you're getting that. All right. The 5th step in a slow process for us is we do what's called a tough interview, which is AKA the team interview. And if you take a look here, we got Thomas Doherty saying Terry loves step 5. Okay, Thomas, you gotta hear about the tough interview, and Terry was part of it. Dean obviously was part of it. Something crazy happened in that tough interview. So, Dean, tell them about the tough interview, man.
I actually enjoyed it. It was really not too bad. Everyone was really, welcoming, and they just, asked some questions. I was just myself, because at the end of the day, they were transparent, so I wanted to be transparent with them. If it was going to fit, it was going to fit. If it wasn't, it wasn't. There was no reason to hide, which I think led to some good conversations. And we got off track a few times, but it was actually really a lot more enjoyable than you'd think.
Dean is the only person that's ever said our tough interview was enjoyable. So when he said that, I'm going, what? Terry's like, I don't know if he just knows how to answer all the questions well or if he's just really just that guy. Terry was drilling him. And if you know Terry loves to drill, and he was answering every single question, covering the objections, which is what you want to see out of a sales representative. So for us, it was like, okay, this is going to be a really easy, really comfortable match. And Terry actually liked Dean, and the thing that happened that's never happened before is Terry's like, I don't know what to tell you other than hire the guy. So that was good. Step number 6 for us is we meet the family. One of what many people consider to be the oddest of all events, but I'll share something else with you. As going through the process, you don't know this yet, but I'm telling you now, our number 1, you were like at now number 2. Our number 1, we met the family. And we really liked the family, but we're not just hiring one person, we're hiring a family. And the family of the number one pick. By the way, I hope that doesn't disappoint you.
No, at the end of the day, it all adds up.
Transparency, right?
Exactly.
Because if you don't know this, you will find out eventually. So what we have found when it comes is that we believe we hire families, the invested families, aid in retention. And what we found was in the person that we were looking at, we were down between Dean and one other person, there was just drama. And you will discover drama when you meet the family, and the wife wasn't invested. So because she wasn't invested and Melissa was invested, it became super obvious to us that our number one draft pick, if we could get him, was going to be Dean. So, Dean, how important was it to Melissa to have met us and to see what we're about as a company? Was that important to her?
It was really important. You know, we just moved down here. We're building a house and stuff for her. She wanted to make sure I was going to be with a good company and it wasn't going to be bouncing around here and there. You know, we've been married almost 2 years now, so it was important to find a career, find a company that we can talk about and laugh about that interview 10 years from now, 15 years from now.
And it does make a big difference, doesn't it? The last and final step is to close the deal, if you will. And for us, when we close the deal, let me show you this slide. You guys might like this slide here, okay? All right. Let's see. All right, so if you can see that slide, I think you probably can. For us, when it comes to close the deal, we want to have a clearly laid out list of expectations for the candidate to agree to in advance. And we call those KPIs, KRAs, but we even go beyond that. We've got all the details in advance, and part of our expectations here as an information technology company, not technology, but information education company, pardon me, is that we want to make sure that the intellectual property is protected, that he understands that our client base is protected, a huge number of things. We want to establish performance pay. Every single team member in our company has a strong performance pay application to what they do. You are successful when you have created success. Your pay raise is effective as soon as you are effective. These are important to us. We talk about our on-ramp periods, and we train, 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 and we train some more. So all of these things are a huge part of what we do as a company to make sure someone like Dean ends up being successful. Now, Labor Day was Monday, so Dean's only in his fourth day of training with us, if you could believe that, fourth day. But Dean, do me a favor, before we jump into the training, by the way, would some of you guys like to see kind of like what week number one on paper looked like for Dean? If you want to see his first week of training, and we worked out what second week of training was going to look like, if you want to see that 2-page document, hit me with a yes, and I'll show you that 2-page document if I get enough yeses, thumbs up, likes, shares. By the way, if you're digging this right now, let's let more people know about it. What I want you to do is I want you to hit that like button. I want to see likes and hearts flying all over here, and I want you to share this, okay? All right? So now coming back to you, Dean, you know, we used DocuSign to get the paperwork initiated a little bit, and it was a lot of paperwork. That was part of our period. You got to know what you're getting into prior to. How was that experience for you? Was that weird, interesting, exciting, different? What'd you feel about that?
No, I thought it was really good. I mean, most places you go and, you know, you get the paperwork right then and there, and there's that pressure, don't read it, just sign. And here it was just, you know, let me go over it, let me go over with my wife. You know, I already knew I wanted to work there, but it was just that transparency. It was knowing exactly what you were getting into, exactly what it was going to be like, which I think is really important going into a job, because you do know exactly, and you're not, you know what you're getting into, because this is going to be a career. This is going to be something you want to do for the next, like I said, 15, 20 years. So
yeah, and for me, you know, I've been on the other side of it, where someone says, "Hey, I want to tell you about whatever. You're right here in front of me. Sign these papers right now before you have a chance to read them over and consult with anybody that you may trust. Sign them now. We're not going to go to the next step." I never want to do that to someone. So it kind of goes to those old biblical principles about just treating people the way you want to be treated. So we give them in advance. We say, hey, go read them over. And we also cover them, the good, the bad, the ugly. And we want to make sure that people have full understanding as to what it means to be on the team. Dean, there's another part of that for me as well, which is really simple. And everybody that's listening, hear this. This is just good company protection. there would never be a point in time with any of our team members to where they would say, let's just say that something happened down the road, there was a disagreement, or someone violated one of the things that's in our company handbook. No one could ever come back and say, well, I didn't know it was in there. Well, why didn't you know it was in there? Well, because I didn't have the time to read it over. Everyone here has had the ample amount of time to do those things, and that's just good business, and it's just good for the culture as a whole. So, Dean, with that, let's show them what we've been working on week 1 with you. So, guys, if you give me just a second here, I am going to get week 1 up on the board, and then I'm going to ask you to make sure that you guys can see it. If you'll just let me know, yes, I can see that. All right. All right, so here we go. You guys should be able to see the screen now. Look at all these projects that we've got going on. Hang on a second. Let me hit that. Look at all these projects we got going on right now. And right here is Dean's sales position. I'm not dropping all of his documents in here because that could get kind of wild. But if we talk about like what is taking place in week 1, I'm going to show you that, all right? So here is our week 1 training plan for Dean. Hey, by the way, if you can see week 1 training schedule for sales representatives, just hit me with a yes or a got it in Thomas's case. Just something to let me know that you can see that. I would appreciate that. And I'm going to assume that you can. And if I hear no, then I'll try to reshare it. But what we wanted to do here was establish the primary learning points. When you do this, it could look a little bit differently. But we want to establish our primary learning points, and you can see those in writing. Our guiding principles, we want to start with what it means to be on the team right out of the gate, what guides us. Our press play system, which is our critical backbone of all the technician training, our critical backbone of what we do inside the class programs to get results. We have him real-time observing with team members, have them going through tech, sales, CSR, Pac-12, sitting with our real coaches, meeting our real clients. Classroom training. Now, he will be in our classroom events live when they're live, but for now, he's doing some self-guided work. And you'll notice that I don't think self-guided work's a bad thing. I've still got things to do on a day-to-day basis. So he's doing some self-guided work with our recorded training videos that we have. And then the most critical aspect of this is beginning to work on mastering what we refer to as our call flow scripts, which is the scripts that Dean is learning so that he can do his best job of guiding our potential clients through the value and the reason why they should send a tech CSR manager to our programs. So those are the training initiatives. Dean, you got anything you want to say about these initial training initiatives?
No, I mean, they've been great. Like Todd said, he's been kind of giving me self-guided, but right before the self-guided, he'll go over stuff with me, allow me to ask questions, and then let me dive in, and then we'll come back to before the day ends, which allows me to really dive in at my own pace, learn it, but not be left alone. Questions beforehand, questions afterwards, and it really helps learning it.
Wonderful. And then we've also set up right in the very beginning key performance indicators that we want to see accomplished through this first 4 days. So the main 3 key performance indicators that I wanted to see Dean accomplish here in these first 4 days, was to be able to review from his memory our purpose, our mission, our vision, and our values. And he did a wonderful job of that this morning. Hey, Dean, just put you on the spot real quick. Just hit us with our purpose. What's our purpose here at this company?
We're going to train tradespeople so they can have a radical impact on their career, their family, their finance, and their jobs.
Wonderful. Good job. And then we got the press plays and then completing a complete role play for the call flow scripts training, which we did. We've even got the grades of it here on the desk. I'll show you those in a minute. So on the training agenda, not only do we do the broad strokes, but then I dive in a little bit deeper. So if you look on Tuesday, hour by the hour, we've got it mapped out. Same thing on Wednesday, same thing on Thursday, same thing on Friday. We have a game plan as to what we are accomplishing. Week 2, if you take a look here at week 2, same exact approach, right? We cover what are going to be the training objectives for week 2. I got it laid out here. He knows exactly what's going to take place. We give him the key performance indicators again. This now includes reports from our other team members because he's going to be effectively doing skill enhancement training hand-on in the classroom. And then I've got his Monday training agenda, his Tuesday training agenda, his Wednesday, his Thursday, and his Friday. And if you'll notice on Friday, we got an end of plan performance review, which we will go back through, we will test, we will quiz. And then he and I together will map out what his next week will look like so he knows what he's got going into it. And then he's got some self-guided work in the afternoon. So is this the perfect way to train someone? I don't know, Dean. Maybe it's not. But is it more effective than not having a plan altogether is the real question.
I think it is, because you know exactly what you're doing. You can, attack the task at hand and not wonder if you're going to get back to it. You know exactly what's going to happen. And if you need to do some stuff after work, knowing that, hey, maybe I didn't get enough time with this because there is a lot, then you can do that. And you know exactly what's going to happen the next day.
That's right. So the last thing that I would share with you here, and it's something that I really encourage you guys to do as you're training and as you're working on enhancing people's skill levels. So like we have our call flow scripts here in hand. And Dean and I just kind of created like a rubric or like a matrix, if you will, like what are the skill sets, like how do we do? And we had memorization, the ability to flex and be impromptu. And on a scale of 1 to 10, I let Dean grade himself first, and then I gave him my grade. And we were pretty close on most of it. There were some things that were a little bit variable. But I believe the importance of getting someone to grade themselves first on their own performance is that it gets real buy-in and it gets them really evaluating, going, okay, I want to be better. So in the first week, in terms of the skills on the call flow script, Dean graded himself a 6.29 out of 10. I gave him a 6.5. And by the way, this isn't the final grade, it's a progress report. So that's like saying Dean thinks he's 62.9% of where he needs to be within his first week. And I agree with that. So great first week, man. You're really doing a wonderful job. So congratulations on that.
I appreciate that. Like you said, it's been, with the training session, it's been really easy to, progress. But now I know exactly what I need to do over the weekend and get ready for next week to move forward.
Wonderful. So, guys, you guys are going to be hearing from Dean, because chances are really good Dean will call you. If you're inside of our system, you will hear from Dean in the next couple of weeks. But, Dean, what I want to do is I want to get you primed. You guys, I want to give you how you can get in contact with Dean. And even though Dean is in his training sessions right now, if you want to touch base with Dean, DEAN, right? And I think you guys know our email, but just in case, SERVEXTRA.com. Even if you just want to reach out to Dean and say, hey, what's up? I'm sure he would appreciate that. He'll certainly write you back. So a lot of exciting things going on here at the company. We have a vision to grow. We have a vision to serve more people. We are excited about growing. We are excited about you, and we are really excited to have Dean on the team. So I hope you found this video educational. I hope you found something in here that you can plug and play inside of your own company. And if you would like to see more of the content unpacked that I kind of hinted to today, let me know. You can send me an email. You can send Dean an email, right? Todd at ServeXtra. You guys know how to get in touch with us. You can comment here on the Facebook page, whatever is best for you. And guys, we're excited to work with you and radically transform your business. Now, Dean, this is a lesson I've not taught you yet, so I'm going to teach it to you now, live for the first time, really easy. But we like to end our training videos, we like to end our emails with our tagline. And even though I'm not going super deep in it, you probably know our tagline. If you don't worry about it. But do you know it?
Yep.
What is it?
We turn learning into earning.
That's it. We turn learning into earning. And so, Dean, why don't you have the final word, and in this video, letting the folks know what we do here.
Guys, we turn learning into earning.
Great.